Hi. In today's I'm going to talk about two extremely important points if you want to pass behavioral interviews with high-performing companies. The first thing I'd like to talk about here is that a very well-hidden reason for behavioral interviews to be so effective is because they are a test for many candidates on whether you can work hard and stay motivated within a short period of time. Because what happens is prior to job interview, you'd probably want to focus, or most of you would focus on tuning up your subject matter expertise. And then, if you get invited for, let's say, a final interview round, then you're also going to take the behavioral part more seriously. Now, in my experience, whenever this happens, you will have a very short period of time, a matter of weeks, to prepare a behavioral interview. And in traditionally speaking, a behavioral interview for someone who's not skilled with these things takes months, if not more. Okay, so that what happens is that you will have to work extremely hard under pressure and in a very short period of time. Okay, so maybe if I put it this way, then you'll probably understand why things such as structuring your answers in the STAR format, or building a story bank, or prepping strengths and weaknesses, or maybe using metrics, preparing failure stories, and so on, these matter a lot less when compared to things such as being able to deliver on under pressure. Okay, because what happens here is you're fighting with the half prepped syndrome. Being half prepped in a behavioral interview is oftentimes worse than having no prep for these occasions. All right, I developed this on other videos, so I won't insist on this. But long story short, your ability to work under pressure is oftentimes, more often than people realize, is being tested when employers advise you to prepare for the behavioral part of your interview. And I invite you to literally look at your past experiences of delivering under pressure. Maybe it was an important exam, maybe it was an important job you've done in the past, and what were your levels of success while working under pressure? And I want you to consider using those levels of success that you used previously to also use them successfully to prepare for the behavioral part of your interview, given the fact that you're most likely going to have a very tight deadline here. Okay, and if I may just suggest one thing, is to be outcome driven. It's not necessary that the best candidates who pass interviews fully prepare on these things, but rather set up a plan that they think, an outcome driven approach that they think they can reach, a level of proficiency that they target to reach. They successfully reach that level of proficiency, then they become motivated and they do well in the job interview. Okay, preparing behavioral interviews is an 80% hands-on and only 20% hands-off experience. So you should know these things. Okay, and the second thing I'd like to talk about here that is also extremely important if you want to pass behavioral interviews and interviews in general with high-performing companies is that not many candidates ask themselves the following question: are you a good deal for the company that you're applying for? Because what happens is that your unique value proposition to them will completely, or I should say at least significantly, change your approach to the type of answers you give. For example, a fresher will almost never be able to answer why do you want to work here with something on the lines of, I'm not sure I want to join you as of yet. I'm just here to learn more about the opportunity. But who knows, maybe your CV recommends you to the extent that you can say something on the lines of this, right? So your unique value proposition should be the central area that you should focus on while crafting your stories. And this goes way beyond your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is just an introduction, but the way you sell yourself throughout your interview, the way you convince them that you're a good deal for them, can easily make or break your performance. Okay, To give some examples here, I've had a guy working in sales for who landed the job with AWS on some well-known US island. His unique value proposition was that he was a local of that island and he previously worked in sales there, right? So he was intending to move back to the island, and this was his unique value proposition. And then he prepared, with the first point I talked about, that, he set some achievable goals. He looked at how well he could deliver under pressure. He set some achievable goals. He had his unique value proposition, and boom, he landed the job. Okay. Or and I remember another case of someone working in advertising. They were working for an agency who would be working with with Amazon again. To deliver on some advertising contracts for Amazon. And then they applied for a job with Amazon to go on the other side of things. Okay, this was their unique value proposition. This was a more intense experience with him. I think we've done over 10 coaching sessions, and he really took my trainings seriously. But long story short, again, at the core, it was his unique value proposition. Okay, or a developer, software engineer, if you've already worked on some AI that is compelling to the company that you're applying for, then maybe you should structure your pitching around ensuring that they understand these things. And you would pitch it a bit differently to a recruiter who doesn't understand much about AI, but who might, connect well with some keywords they might have found already in your CV, when compared to someone who's technical, during the final interview rounds, so the pitches would be very different, and you would still have to build a story bank for these things. But your unique value proposition is what will often, give them that extra thing to choose you over other candidates. Okay, so long story short here, behavioral interviews, if you want to prep them well, require an incredible amount of time, and most of you will be experiencing a situation where you will have to be working under pressure. So you should find out what is the best approach for you, given the incredible pressure you're going to have to deal with. And the second thing, answer the question on why you are a great deal for the company that you're applying for. So I hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.